folks, welcome to the Dice Tower. I'm Sam.
I'm JT.
And this is our bottom 5. That is to say, our numbers 10 through 6 of our top 10 hand management games.
Yep. Every game in the world, hand management. I swear to goodness.
Well, okay, I understand that. If you have a hand of cards at all,
Yep, that's hand management.
you could call it hand management.
Yep.
So this is a wide net that we've cast.
I excluded most just card games. I tried to stick to board games with hand management that was interesting. I excluded poker and the crew and all of those kind of games, which is just specifically hand management. All trick taking is hand management. I got rid of all of those things.
Yeah.
So I went to board games that have hand management that has interesting hand management, not like just action selection. That's just, I tried to go with where what you're managing your hand is important in a more significant way. But that was my way to deduce it, because there's 20,000 hand management games.
I did not automatically leave out all card games. But I also didn't include any trick-taking games, because we just did a list on that.
Yep.
Most of the list, though, talking about both the bottom and the top, are board games. They're not card games. They're board games that have cards in them, and you have to use them to do other things within the game, and it's how well you manage those cards.
One of mine is more cards, but it's still interactive with everybody else at the table, and there's much more of a card selection type of thing. So.
Sure. Understood.
Anyways.
So that's that. We didn't. I didn't put together the weights of the games or anything like that, because hand management games, they're all over the place anyway, I guess. But I do have some heavy ones, and I do have some really light games.
My average weight was 3.05.
3.05. Mine is probably nowhere near that.
All right. Let it rip.
Here we go. Our top 10. This is just the bottom half, though.
Yep.
The bottom 5, 10 through 6, hand management games. Let's get to it. All right, my number 10 is a game that I did not used to think of as a hand management game, but it absolutely is, because I totally screwed it up on the last time we played this game.
Okay.
I totally screwed up my hand management. And it almost lost us the game.
Okay.
Battlestar Galactica, the board game.
Yeah, that's hand management.
If you screw up your hand in this, if you don't manage your hand well, and what I mean by that is, because what I was focused on was just the numbers.
Sure.
Not what the cards actually do, because when you play a card from your hand in different circumstances, you can play it just for the number, or you can play it to do the thing that it says you can do now. And if you screw that up, good luck. And that's one of the reasons why. Now, there's a whole lot of other stuff going on in this game. I don't think it's just a hand management game.
I think it's
significantly
hand management.
Actually. I do believe that. Yes, I do believe that. But there's a social dynamic that's going on. There's all of the different things that you can do at the different sites on the board that's going on. Politics, battling, there's a whole bunch of other stuff going on. But if you mess up doing the hand management part of this game, you can really screw yourself over pretty fast. And that's why I put it on there. It's my number 10. It's lower because I didn't used to think of it as a hand management game, but now I absolutely do. Yeah. So that's my number 10, Battlestar Galactica.
I think of it as a hand management game. I mean, just when you play out cards, when you put cards into the pool, which cards you save, which cards, all that kind of stuff, which cards you're taking, all of that's very hand management.
Yes, absolutely.
Yep, okay. Good pick. All right, well, my number 10 is the first one I thought of when you said hand management. It is the very first one I thought of.
Yeah.
And this is a worker placement game where you're collecting cows, your hand, and you're selling them in Kansas City. Everything you do in this game is traveling across the country, culling the cards in your hand, getting the right combinations of cows in your hand, selling them at the right time, feeding them to the bandits. No, whatever you do, whatever you're going to do with them. There's obviously 3 different versions here. So if you're in the The New Zealand one, you actually get to shear your sheep and stuff like that. So that adds another resource that your hand will do for you. But yeah, it's all about hand management. It's all about that pack of cows that you have that you're taking to Kansas City and selling them, and how you manipulate that, how you trade them out.
I don't think you said that.
I did say that.
I don't know. I don't think you did. I was waiting for it. I was like, go on.
Great Western Trail, second edition specifically.
Yes.
But there's New Zealand and there's Argentina, and there's now El Paso, which I haven't played.
Well, I'm up for playing that. It's in Texas.
Yeah, and that's a short version.
Oh.
That's like the...
No, wait. Oh.
That's like the dumbed down word. Not dumbed down. No, that's not the right word. No, but anyways, in Great Western Trail, that's what you're doing. You're collecting a set of cows. Yeah. You're taking them to Kansas City, and you're selling them.
Or El Paso.
Or El Paso.
Or Argentina.
Yep. And if you want, you can swim to Japan. I don't know. That one's coming next.
On the back of your cow.
The swim to Japan on your cow. Anyways, that was my number 10, Great Western Trail.
All right, that's a good pick. All right, my number 9 is definitely not going to be a crossover. I know this for a fact.
I think one crossover for sure, maybe two. 60% chance there's two.
We'll see. We'll see. I know this is not going to be a crossover. JT does not like this game very much at all. But it is very much a hand management game. It's called the Unmatched Game System. ING. See how quiet he went? I really like this game, not because of all of the wealth of decisions that you have to make, because you really don't. It's a very straightforward, simple game to play. But I do like how each of the characters' decks have different things that you can do in them, and they're all pretty much, in a way, shape, or form, balanced in some kind of way. I think ranged characters probably have a little bit more oomph and a little bit more power than your hand-to-hand characters do, so be aware of that. But at the same time, I really do enjoy... The last time we played this game, we played a couple of characters from the Slings and Arrows expansion that I just got, and they were both very evenly matched. We actually both ran out of cards. And it was just one of those things where it was a really cool back and forth. Repositioning, attacking, and that's really kind of the flow of the game. But the hand management in this, because if you run out of cards, you start having to lose health whenever you have to draw cards. That's an important thing. So hand management really plays very heavily into this game. And it's also a pretty cool arena battler as well.
I don't even remember hand management in this game.
Oh, that's that's all.
It's a pretty simplistic game overall.
It is. It is, but I really enjoy it. Unmatched game system.
That is fair. Lots of people love Unmatched. All right, my number 9 is one that lots of people don't seem to love. I don't know why. My number 9 is more of a card game than the rest of mine for sure. But it does have a central board, and there are 4 piles that you can choose from when it's your turn. This game is called... I had to read it, so I remembered. No, I'm just kidding. This game's called Red Rising from Stonemaier Games. Now, Red Rising is like Fantasy Realms.
That's from Stonemaier? I didn't realize that.
It's like Fantasy Realms. It's like... Marvel Remix. Now, both of those are really good games. I think Red Rising's the best of the 3. Red Rising has 4 stacks of cards in the middle, and on your turn, you're going to play down 1 card from your hand and get an action from that, and then pick up another card and off of one of the other stacks. And so everybody's working these same 4 stacks, and there's all different kinds of abilities that are happening. And really, in this one, you're moving up on this track with a little spaceship. You're trying to get it to 7. You're collecting, it's not helium. I can't think. You're collecting little red crystals now. I can't think of them. It's been a long day, but you're collecting those. And basically, you're trying to collect, there's 3 different victory items, and you're trying to get 2 of those to 7 first. And when that happens, the game ends, and then there's a whole scoring system. But the 7 cards that are in your hand at the end of the game are what you're scoring. So, and they all have synergy. So if this card is with 2 gold cards, then it's worth 20 points. If it's worth 1 gold card and a red card, then it's worth negative 10 points or whatever else. And so you're trying to curate your entire hand. The whole game is about curating your hand while doing good actions, placing them down in the board and drawing cards. So there's a lot of nice depth to it. And then by the end of the, like I said, by the end of the game, you have 7 cards in your hand that hopefully work together and make good points. But it's a very cool game. I really like it. I really like Marvel Remix as well. But anyways, that's my number 9, Red Rising. All about managing your hand.
No, it's been so long since I played that, but as you were going through, I started remembering parts of it. Yeah, that is a good pick. Well done. All right, my number 8 is another one where, most of the time, whenever you have hand management, at least this is the way my brain came at it, you have cards that do things. And usually those things are pretty involved. Not necessarily so, I guess, but they have multiple things that you can do on the cards. This one is not really that much, but it's just about movement. This is called Wandering Towers. Wandering Towers. Sorry, not Wandering Towers. Wandering Towers. And really, you have a hand of 3 cards that you are trying to manage. But there's a couple of different things that you're really looking at in that usage or the management of those cards. You not only want to move your people to the Black Tower, you also want to move those towers to trap, I guess you could say, as many of the other people as possible. Because what I found when people really start moving their people around, their wizards around the track into the Black Tower, they forget that you also have to turn over your vials, your potion vials, before you get all of your people in there as well.
Sure.
Though it's 2-pronged winning. You can't do one or the other. And that's where I came into this thinking that this was a pretty cool hand management game, is because you have to use those movements not just to move your wizards around, but you also have to get as many people trapped as you can and get all those vials turned over. And it's usually easier or better to do it quickly than it is to wait until later in the game. So that tension or that dichotomy of how you use the cards, and not all of the cards move both, but many of them do, either your wizards or the towers. I enjoy this. I think it's a cool hand management game. It's definitely not heavy, of course, but I really enjoy it, and it's a great game. So that's why I put it on my list. My number 8, Wandering Towers.
It's a very fun game. Very, very fun game. All right, my number 8 may show up again in the next video, I would assume, but we'll see. My number 8, you are in a horror film, and you're the last female alive. That makes you the final girl.
Final female.
The final girl. You are the final girl in some kind of episode where you're fighting one monster, the big bad wolf or the xenomorph or whatever, the Freddy Krueger knockoff or whatever else. The Pinhead knockoff, whatever else. They have very creative names so that they don't use the names of the people, but you can be red or you can be, but there's a whole bunch of different final girls and they have different abilities or different things that they can do. There's a whole bunch of different maps and there's a whole bunch of different enemies, but hand management in this game is
where you lose.
Top notch. It's where it's how you play the game anyways, but
I'm sorry, I lose.
You only have so many cards in your hand, and you start out with 6 that are level 0 cards, which are your basic cards. And during your turn, you can take as many actions as you want to do playing those cards. Some of those actions cost you time. At the end of the round, like you could stop with 6 cards in your hand and do nothing this round if you wanted to. At the end of the round, whatever time you have left, you get to purchase new cards to put in your hand. Now, everything you use that round goes into kind of a dead pool, and you can't use those for the next round. So there's this rotation of cards that you cannot use for the next round. if you've used them this round. Right. There's just a ton of hand management in there. Obviously, there's a lot of luck, and there's a lot of, rolling dice, and do I spend 2 extra cards to get this one success that I need? And spending those cards is very painful. So,
usually no.
And sometimes no, sometimes just have to try. But anyways, Final Girl is a fantastic hand management game where you live and die in your cards.
Absolutely do.
So
that's a good pick. Criminally low. All right, my number 7. I really think this is a hand management game.
If you have to preface it that way, we're in trouble.
But I think people might look at it more as a drafting game. But you're drafting cards into your hand. And how you manage your hand also determines what you're giving to the other people in the game and what they're going to be able to use in their itineraries.
Okie dokie.
This one's called Let's Go to Japan.
Wow. That's in the hand management book?
It is.
You don't even have a hand of cards, typically.
Yeah,
You're just
you
drafting 2 and then playing 1.
You have a hand of 2 cards every round. And you got to use one of them, and you got to give the other one away. And then next round,
I'll give it this: you have cards,
and
they're in your hand. You have to manage them. All right. Great game.
It's a stretch. I get it, but I think it clears all of the tests. I think it really does, because sometimes you get cards, and both of them are like, nah. But then you look at your neighbor's itinerary and like, holy crap, they're waiting for that card.
Yeah,
so I better find a use for that.
Yeah, it's possible.
So you really have to do pretty well. I think hand management is a sub-level.
Yeah, like 17th level.
No, not 17th. It's a sub-level of the drafting of this game. I get that, and I will concede that. But I do believe it does really feel like a hand management game for me, and I really do enjoy this game. I don't own it, so I'm reliant upon when other people bring it into play. So maybe that's another reason why I want to shoehorn it in here, because I don't know when I'll be able to play it next. This is my number 7. Let's Go to Japan. It's a great game, and it has hand management in it.
Perfect. Great game. So far, I think we're doing 2 different lists.
No, we're not.
All right. My number 7. I tried to stay away from, as much as I could, not handcrafting games, but drafting games.
Okay.
What mechanism I'm talking about? My brain's not working.
When you're like the transparent card.
Or like
thingies?
when you're building your hand out of a deck. Whatever.
Deck builders.
Forget it, deck builders. I tried to stay away from deck builders.
Yeah.
And this isn't technically a deck builder anyways, but this is a racing game, my number 7, that I really love, that has a lot of different cool things in it. But the number 1 mechanism in this game is managing your hand, and this is Heat Pedal to the Metal.
Oh.
In Heat Pedal to the Metal, you have a hand of cards. You're going to use a specific number of those cards based on your speed to drive around this track.
Yep.
And you're going to do it with everybody else. You have to manage the corners. You have to go slow around the corners. You try to speed up during the speedways. You're getting heat that's going into your hand that you're having to manage and get out of there by lowering your gears or by other methods to try to keep the heat down in your car so that you don't slide or slide in the corners or get out of control. And at the same time, you can add an extra card to a run at the end to add some heat to get a little extra push, and there's cards in that are stress cards, which just have a plus on them, so you don't know what you're going to get, and you just top deck it to see what you're going to go for speed. Yep. There's a lot of management in this. At the end of your turn, at the end of everybody's turn, whatever, you get to discard cards that you want. So which ones do I get to discard? Which ones do I save for later and hope I draw what I need? There's just a lot of hand management in this game.
Got that right.
And I think it's fantastic. So that's my number 7, Heat Pedal to the Metal.
Totally agree with you.
Is that your number 6?
Definitely belongs on this list.
Okay. I wasn't sure if you were going to put on here.
Woefully low. Not criminally low. Woefully low.
Whatever.
Anyway,
At least that means I know he's got 2 good games on his list so far. 2 good hand management games.
Yep, there you go.
Okay.
2 out of 10 ain't bad.
Mm-hmm.
My number 6 is one of those instances where it was a card game, and it does not have, well, it does have a board, but it's definitely not a board game. It's a card game. But this one's called Forest Shuffle.
Oh.
And Forest Shuffle is one of those kinds of games that it is all about hand management. It's one of those kinds of games where you have to use cards out of your hand in order to pay to put out other cards that are in your hand. And I think that's really kind of a pinnacle of hand management, because you got to know what you're willing to get rid of in order to capitalize on what you really want to put down.
Yep.
But on top of that, a lot of the cards that you're playing and putting into your forest are giving you the option to draw more cards. So there's also the hand management where it's almost like a cyclical hand management, because the card that you just discarded to the clearing, you can pick that right back up and put it. You
cannot touch the clearing when you draw. You have to top deck.
I don't think so.
I'm pretty sure.
I don't think so.
I'm pretty sure you have to top deck.
Well,
anything that says you have to draw a card, you have to draw from the top.
That might be what they're doing wrong.
Oh, that might be.
Ah.
Yeah, you have to top deck it. You can't pull from the clearing when you get that draw card.
That's interesting.
You cannot.
You learn something new every day, folks.
Yeah.
Don't ever say you don't, because you always do. At least when you're me, you do. You forget a lot of stuff. Anyway, that's what they're doing wrong, I bet you.
That probably is. And the best thing about, the tightest thing about Forest Shuffle, and it is a nice game. It's a nice light tableau building, but it does have that hand management.
Mm-hmm.
The nicest thing about it is you want to have lots of cards in your hand to figure stuff out, but you can never have more than 10 cards in your hand.
Yep.
And there can never be more than 10 cards in here before it gets cleared in the clearing. So you are really playing within I need to draw 2 more cards, but if I do and you lay down the cards I want and I got 10 cards in my hand, I don't get them. And there's a nice bit of tension in there.
Yes.
The tension in there is the reason I like this game.
Yes.
Yes.
And that's what the problem was. That tension isn't there.
Because you can't draw from draw from here when you play that.
We're talking about some friends of ours.
Anyways, cheers.
Don't worry about it. You know what's going on. It's still a good pick. I might have got one of the rules wrong, but it's still a good pick.
Yeah, that's definitely a rule. You have to top deck.
That's my number 6, Forest Shuffle.
Right on. All right. Well, my number 6 is a game that I was super excited about. My son was super excited about. I didn't know how it was going to go. Lots of good things, lots of good opportunities. The way you use your hand in this game is a little bit different. This game is called Dragon Eclipse. I have to keep looking down here. I am really so tired that my brain's not working completely.
He hasn't played this game with me yet, so I can't.
I have not. But in Dragon Eclipse, there's 2 things that you do. First of all, you get this little Mistling character, and you only get a deck of so many cards based on what character you have. And you can upgrade that deck and change that deck. But before you go into a mission, you're going to get a specific number of cards that you get to have for your deck. You can deck build that basically offline, right? You're deck building this and going into the mission. Then you have that, and then what happens is your deck, when you get into a combat, there's an actual combat scenario where you're moving around a map and probably fighting another Mistling or trying to subdue it or something like that. But your deck goes down face down, and then your hand is all turned face up, and the card on the farthest side, when you use it, will give you the most of these little energy pool tokens. And the card closest to the deck will only give you 1 of these energy pool tokens. So the question then becomes, do I do this action that I really want to do right now but only get 1 token, or do I do the action that's subpar so I can get more tokens so I can do a good bonus action? There's a lot of different things. Not only do you get to build your deck to kind of curate the way that character plays, but then you have to decide what order you play of those face-up cards. And that management of those cards and what you do in the battle is really good. So it really is really good. So we really like this game. It's really cool. So
awesome.
And it's beautiful. But
absolutely.
That's my number 6, Dragon Eclipse. Go check it out.
We unboxed that on the channel, and it is a beautiful game.
Yes, it is.
Very nice.
And it's fun.
Yep. All right. Well, that is that. Our bottom 5, numbers 10 through 6 of our top 10 hand management games. You can go over to the Flipside right now. That's where we usually put up most of our content, and it's ready for you to watch right now. They both went up at the same time. So leave us a like, subscribe here, leave us a comment, let us know what you think, how it's going. Then head on over and watch that one too.
All right, go buy a deck of cards, fan it out, and you're managing your hand.
Manage the hand.
Later.
See you on the flip side, folks. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you like this review or whatever you just watched, wasn't it amazing? Check out our channel, Dice Tower. We have all kinds of things. We review games, we do top 10s, we play games live. It's all about board games, but especially the people who play them. Check out Dice Tower YouTube channel.